are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. This is just to let you know that we're going to get going with today's IAP2 USA Ambassador Program webinar in about 2 minutes. We're going to get going with today's webinar in about 2 minutes. Thanks for your patience. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our special webinar today on the IAP2 USA Ambassador Program. Thank you so very much for joining us. This is an exciting launch of a new program, so we're really, really pleased that you were able to join us for this special event. So just a quick couple of housekeeping items as we get going. I know that Stacy and Kathy are hoping that this will be a very interactive webinar. We're hoping that many of you will have some questions and some ideas and some suggestions for us. So if you do, please don't hesitate to pop them in the question box or raise your hand. If you raise your hand, we will open your mic and you can ask your question directly. When we get going, if you've got other questions, either in the question box or raise your hand and we'll make sure to answer those. We will be recording today's webinar so that other people that might be interested in the program but unable to join us today will still get to hear and learn as much as you will as you join us. So with that, it is with my great pleasure that I introduce Kathy Smith. Kathy is a board member of IAP2 USA and also the chair of the Communications Committee. So Kathy, over to you.
Hi, everybody. It's really great to have you here today. On behalf of the board, welcome, and thank you for having the interest in the Ambassador Program. We're really excited to introduce you to it and to hear about your ideas and questions as we go along. The Ambassador Program was created out of member feedback that we received directly through our members and from various surveys that have gone out. What we've learned and heard is that there's three main things that the organization can do to help our members. That's to provide professional development, networking opportunities, and the opportunity to advocate for good P2. And we're super excited about this program because it hits on all three. For anybody who becomes an ambassador, there's an opportunity for your own professional development in helping to represent good P2 out in the community. There's a networking opportunity among the ambassadors as we go along, as well as the ambassadors out in their communities. And then there's certainly embedded in that the goal of advocating for good P2. So we're super excited that this is what our members tell us that they want. And now we've got it packaged up into a program where we could go out and talk to people about what good P2 looks like, because it's just needed now more than ever. Stacy is partnered on this with us, and she's going to be our kind of center point to help us all stay on track as we launch the Ambassador Program. So she's going to have the lion's share of the presentation today. To walk us through what do we mean by an ambassador program, what's involved in it, what are the resources that we want to provide to folks that want to join as ambassadors, and what's the process to become an ambassador. So with that, I think I'd like to turn it over, introduce Stacy, and have you hear her voice and have her walk us through her presentation. Stacy?
Kathy, thank you so much, and thanks to everyone who is on the line with us. We're going to start out with an introduction. I'd love to tell you a little bit about myself, and then I know we all want to learn about who you are, where you're from, what you do, and why you're interested in the Ambassador Program. So I'll start, and then when you're ready, just raise your hand and Amelia will open your mic. As Kathy said, my name is Stacey Adams, and I'm the program coordinator for IAP2 USA's Ambassador Program. When I'm not doing that, I live and work in Salt Lake City for a small strategic communications firm called Summers Jaramillo and Associates. And if you know Leah Jaramillo, it is her company, and she is my captain. So we work on a lot of transportation and municipal work here. And then I'm also the Utah representative for the IAP2 Intermountain chapter, which serves the Intermountain West.
So thanks very much, Stacy. Yep, people haven't raised their hands, so that means I'm going to call on them. So I'm going to start opening up people's mics, and you can introduce yourself so we can get to know you a little bit better. Now, I'd like to start with Lisa. Lisa, I'm going to open up your mic, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Carlson. I'm the Vice President of IAP2 USA, and I live in Denver and have also been participating in the Colorado chapter. And I spend most of my time doing stakeholder involvement and facilitation on public policy.
So why are you interested in this program, Lisa?
Why am I? Well, more now than ever, we need good public participation, practitioners, and dialogue.
Excellent. Thanks very much. So now I'm going to turn to Francesca and open up her mic. Francesca, I need you to add the pin so that I can open up your mic. So I think I've just sent you the pin. But let's open up Cassie. Cassie, are you here?
I am. I'm Cassie Hemphill. I live in Missoula, Montana. I am involved in the Intermountain chapter as the Montana State Representative by default because I'm the only member in Montana. And I work for the Federation as staff, managing professional development for the Federation. And then when I'm not doing that, I teach part-time and I teach classes in communication and deliberation, dialogue and deliberation. And I'm interested in this because, you know, I talk to a lot of people about IAP2 and IAP2 USA, and having the right talking points would make my life so much easier.
I hope we can help. So with that, I'm going to turn to Ashley. Ashley, are you there? And then I'll come back to Francesca. Ashley. Oh, we seem to be having some problems in hearing Ashley. Ashley, are you with us? All right. So we'll try and come back to Ashley. We may be having issues with her mic, and we'll hear from Francesca.
Hi, everybody. This is Francesca Petricolo. I'm a planner and public involvement specialist for the City of Portland, Oregon Bureau of Transportation, and I'm president of the Cascade chapter. I'm interested in this because I'm already an ambassador since before I was a member even. So I'm glad to be here. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Francesca, and welcome. So I'm just going to come back to Ashley to see if we've got Ashley's mic working. Ashley, are you with us? Okay. If we're unable to get your mic working, please just send us some information in the question box and we'll be happy to add it. So with that, I'm going to turn to Charisse, and after Charisse, I'm going to turn to Emily. Charisse. Charisse, you must have muted your mic. If you can unmute your mic, that would be great. Charisse, are you with us? Charisse? Okay. So I'm going to open up Emily's mic and hopefully we can hear from Emily. Emily, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Emily?
Oh, perfect. I didn't know if that would work. I'm Emily. I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska. I am a public involvement specialist for an engineering firm here in Lincoln. But I work regionally throughout the Midwest, and I'm actually a Midwest chapter board member. I'm also the chapter liaison. So I'm interested in this program because our chapter is, I guess, kind of growing and starting over a little bit, trying to figure out the different things that we could do to support our members. So this is a good first step to that.
Excellent. Cherise, welcome. So with that, I'm going to, I was going to open up Jessica's mic, but Jessica, you're self-muted, so if you can unmute yourself, and then hopefully we can hear your voice. Jessica, are you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Sure can. Hey.
Oh, great. Hi there. Yes, I'm with JLA Public Involvement, and I just joined, so I haven't quite looked at the screen. So I'm in the ambassador just to kind of find out more information about the program and how we can connect with people in our communities around public involvement, and opportunities also for our staff to reach out to other people in the field as well as clients.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much. Thanks so much, Jessica, and welcome. So I'm now going to turn over to Mark Bowman, and then I'm going to go to Mark Poshak. So Mark Bowman first. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. Welcome.
Thank you. So I'm Mark Bowman. I'm with Sharp & Company. We are a marketing communications firm based out of DC that specializes in providing innovative P2 solutions to transportation sector clients. And I'm interested because we're looking at getting a chapter or getting some momentum going here in the DC area. And we're looking to build on that. I think we had a chapter at one point, but it folded for some reason. So we're looking to get some momentum going once again.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mark, and wishing you the very best of luck in DC. So, Mark Poshak. Mark, are you with us? Oh, Mark doesn't have mic access. So, so Mark's going to type in his response. So I'll send it to everybody as soon as he's done that. So with that, I'm going to turn to Robert, and after Robert, I'm going to turn to Stacy. So to Stacy Mueller. So Robert, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, thanks. I hope you can hear me.
We sure can.
My name's Robert Thompson. I'm in Falcon Heights, but for years I've been an advocate of IAP2, worked with the city of Minneapolis, and prior to that with the neighborhood revitalization program in Minneapolis, where a lot of our role was directly involving the public in city decision-making processes. I just recently left the city to strike out on my own, consulting with nonprofits on everything from public participation to management and business practices and financial management. But one thing that I'm very interested in this for is I've worked with a lot of community organizations and nonprofits and neighborhood organizations that are very interested in improving the public participation practices in the city.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and best of luck, and thank you so much for joining us. So with that, Stacy, we're going to head to you.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
We can, Stacy. Welcome.
Excellent. I'm Stacy Mueller. I am out of Phoenix, Arizona. I'm an environmental scientist for GHD. We're primarily an Australian company, and so we've had a lot of team members recommend IAP2 to us for stakeholder engagement resources. Many of them were founders. I have kind of turned into a stakeholder engagement specialist in the last 10 years, doing that type of work for mining clients across the U.S. For environmental projects at former mining and smelting sites. And I'm interested to be able to raise the profile for the need for corporate responsibility.
Thank you so much, Stacy, and welcome. So, Stephen, we're going to open up your mic, and then we're going to go to Sue, and then we're going to go to Wendy. So, Stephen. Looks as though you're muted, Stephen. Alrighty, we're going to go on to Sue. Sue, it looks as though you're muted as well. Can you unmute yourself?
There we go.
Hey.
This is Sue Perilla. Yeah.
Hey, Sue.
I live in Lakewood, Colorado, just outside of Denver. I'm relatively new to IAP2. I attended the conference that was in Denver last September, and my interest has mostly to do with community activism, being involved in organizations that do public participation poorly, trying to see how I can gain some skills to make things go a little bit better from the volunteer point of view.
Excellent. Sue, thank you so very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And I'm going to go to Wendy, and then I'm going to come back to Cherie, and then Stacy, I'm going to turn it over to you. So Wendy, and then back to Cherie. Wendy, hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Oh, good. Okay. New headphones. So I'm calling from Loveland, Colorado, and I've been a member of IAP2 for a really long time. And I've been a trainer for a long time, and I'm interested in the ambassador program because someone said I've already been an ambassador. I guess it was Francesca. I've also already been an ambassador, but I haven't had any materials to use. So I'm really looking forward to having some high quality materials to use in sharing the messages about IAP2 and what good public participation is. So that's why I'm here.
Thanks so much, Wendy, and welcome. So we'll come back to Cherie. Cherie, you've muted your mic. If you could just unmute. There we go.
Hi there. Sorry about earlier. I'm doing this from my phone, so I'm having a little technical difficulty, but I just wanted to say hello really quickly. I also am in Washington, and I'm one of Mark's colleagues with Sharp and Company. As he stated earlier, we do a lot of work with transportation agencies, and he and I have been collaborating on trying to get a chapter started out here. So when the email came through in my inbox, I was like, wow, this is a sign. We should definitely be a part of this webinar. So I'm excited to hear what everyone has to say, and thank you for having me.
Thanks so much and welcome. And with that, Stacy, time to learn a little bit more about this program. So over to you.
Thanks, Amelia, and thank you, everyone. What a fantastic group of people to join us today, representing so many different parts of the country and so many different backgrounds and interests for the Ambassador Program. So someone said it earlier, it may have been Lisa, who said, it matters now more than ever. And that is one of our messages. So Lisa, thank you very much for kicking us off and leading us into this discussion. Building on what Kathy said, I wanted to mention a little bit some of the information that came out of the national dialogues last year. So several chapters convened several hundred people and hosted a number of dialogues to talk about the state of public participation given the current level of discourse in our country, given the current rancor of our discourse. And regardless of where the dialogue was held, we did get a number of input that was pretty much consistent. And one of those things was the desire for increased transparency. People felt like they have a right to be involved. Cue core value number one. They have the expectation of being heard. They want supported and sustainable decisions. They are growing increasingly outraged, as you can tell from these photos, about what's happening in their communities. There's growing distrust of government processes. And we heard from a number of people that they just feel powerless. They don't know what to do. And these national dialogues were the catalyst for the creation of the Ambassador Program. So this is where we're coming from. This is what we're hoping to improve. Officially, I like to think unofficially, I like to think we're going to go out and make the world better. But we do have an official vision, and you can read it right here on this slide. The Ambassador Pilot Program, we're furthering the reach and implementation of Good P2 by supporting a team of ambassadors who work with leaders in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors to create more opportunities for the public and project owners to make good decisions together. So at the high level, this is what we're hoping to achieve. This is how the world will be different as a result of this program. Taking it down a few steps, we've got several goals. The first one, to raise awareness of what Good P2 is and what it looks like. I think many of us have heard people talk about what they think P2 is, and we certainly have a lot of different definitions of what constitutes good or bad P2, but we would actually like to raise awareness, set a bar of what good P2 is. We would like to support strategic alliance building and increase institutional support for P2. So whether that's working with someone doing grassroots outreach for public engagement, or whether it's working with an elected official or an agency director on instituting a P2 framework for their agency, it can be any of these things. We just want to increase the buy-in for P2 in institutions. The strategy sounds pretty simple, and hopefully it will be pretty simple, but we are prepared to work with you to set up specific action plans based on the amount of time you have, the level of interest that you have, and the availability that you have to participate in the program. We have a tremendous set of tools, resources, and support that we will be providing you with as well. So one of the pieces of feedback we heard early on when developing the program is that people just weren't sure if it was for them. It seems like it might just be too much work. And we've taken that feedback in stride and updated the program to make it as flexible and scalable as you need it to be. So you'll hear that a couple times throughout the presentation, and we just want to reiterate that now, that this program is about you, and we're here to support you in the ways that work for you. So what will you be doing? Surely whatever you want and whatever you have time for. It could be something as simple as sharing a social media post every couple of weeks. You could write an article about good P2. You could do something more intensive like hosting a brown bag for one of the webinars that IAP2 USA hosts every month, or hosting a brown bag about a project that you've done or another colleague or organization has done. You can present to municipalities and allied organizations. One example that we've been doing here locally is partnering with the American Society for Public Administration. And last year when we held a national dialogue, we actually held a couple here in Salt Lake, but one of the ones we hosted was with ASPA, and we did it over the lunch hour. And we really wanted to bring public administrators together to get them to share their thoughts and concerns about what was happening. So there are great organizations in all of our communities that we can reach out and work with. You can take it all the way to the top and present at a national conference, or keep it local and present at something that is within your region. And you can also look at hosting a national dialogue in your own community. So the first resource that we want to talk with you about is the Ambassador Toolkit. And some of you, well, those of you who attended last year's conference may have the very cool flash drive that Amelia was handing out that has some of these resources available on it right now. These will be available to you on the IAP2 Ambassador website shortly. And they include things like the USA brochure, the key messages document, a list of member benefits, newsletter, onboarding checklist, postcard, preloaded PowerPoint presentation, and the public participation pledge. And you can see the example of the postcard here right now. These documents are all ready to go. You can print them out, you can email them out. They are branded, they are logoed, and they're ready for you to use. Conveniently, they can also be customized. So if you're doing a presentation and you want to drop an agency logo in it, you can do that. If you need to add slides, cut slides, add in some additional key messages, you can do that with these materials. We've designed them to be as intuitive as they need for what you're doing. This is an example of the onboarding checklist. So you can see if you have a new member coming on board in your community, you can send this to them, and it just helps them get oriented with the resources that are available. And here we have two examples. On the left, it is a newsletter article about core value number 7. It's actually several pages long. So you're just looking at the first page right now. And then on the other side are the key messages. So all of this information is very useful if you're creating a social media post, if you're sending an email, if you're creating a PowerPoint presentation. All of these materials, you can simply copy and paste what works for the audience that you're giving your presentation to, and they're all preloaded and available for you. So the second big tool that we have is the membership and organization list. And if anyone's done any digging around the IAP2 USA website, you may have come across this already. It's basically the directory for all of the members of IAP2 USA, both individuals and Kathy had the wonderful idea of separating it out by agency as well, so that if you want to go out and partner with some transportation agencies, you can actually see who's already participating from that field. Or if you want to go look at the environment or energy sectors, you can see who's already become a member. And we are happy to put you in touch with these folks as well. If you're interested in sending them an email or setting up a phone call or a meeting, staff support is here to help you with that. And you can see a little snapshot of how many members we have in each of these sectors. So the third very big tool that we have to offer you is the core value pledge opportunities. And this is actually pretty cool, especially if any of the organizations on this list are near where you are right now. This is a list of 39 cities who are already doing some kind of public participation work, and it varies. Some of them are just dipping their toes in the water. Others have already received awards for the work that they've done. And we've drawn these organizations from the Core Value Award winners, the Government Alliance on Race and Equity, National League of Cities and Towns, and some others. And so we'll give you this list, and if there are folks, maybe you already have relationships with some of these people. If not, this is a great place to start, to give them a call and see how you can be their best practice expert for public participation. So now that we've talked a little bit about what kinds of things the ambassadors will do and what kind of tools we have to offer you, we'd like to talk about how we'll support you. And bullet number one, dedicated staff support. That's the most important part of what this is, that we are here to help you create your action plan and to do what you can with the time that you have to make a difference. We're available to support you by phone and email. We'll be setting up quarterly one-on-one calls or go-to meetings to talk about what's working and not working, to connect you with each other, and to sometimes do a short training, speaker, video, or other type of inspirational element to those calls. We're working on networking events and trainings at conferences. We will have a dedicated social platform that you'll have access to, so this is a great way for you to stay in touch with each other, to post resources, maybe make snarky comments about something that went well or not. And we also want to recognize you for the great work that you're doing, and that will be done at the North American Conference in September through our newsletter, on social media, and additional channels. So here are a couple snapshots of our social media. And I know not everyone loves to use Facebook or Twitter. We're hoping that we might be able to convince you to use LinkedIn if you don't already. But these are our big three. These are the social platforms that IAP2 USA is heavily invested in. And these are the platforms we'll be creating content for the ambassadors in the program. And you can see some examples that people have posted. On the right, that is what Instagram looks like, or excuse me, LinkedIn, not Instagram. On the top left is Facebook, and on the bottom in the middle is Twitter. So to support you, we'll be posting information about the work that you're doing up on our IAP2 website, on LinkedIn, social media, and then the newsletter. We want people to see the good work that you're doing. We want people to see the accessibility of this program, and we definitely want to share the good news stories that you provide us. We'll be sending out a 5 things to do each month checklist for professional development. This could be a list like how to refine a pitch, how to research partners, social media templates, something that's inspiring, a new way to listen, a TED Talk that deals with public participation, just anything that kind of helps you be inspired, that keeps you motivated and gives you the skills you need to be an ambassador. And then we've also created a tool to help you keep track of the work you're doing as part of the program. We do need some metrics back for the ambassador program so that we can report out on those at the end of the year. And we are looking for ways to make it easy for you to get us this information. So this is just a couple of examples that I've put into the reporting matrix. You can see on the left, the skill that you're using is public speaking. How did you do it? You presented to a local chamber of commerce. What kind of tools did you use? PowerPoint and the Spectrum. We've got some quantitative information, the date, time, the number of attendees, the location, and then if you're using any particular platform such as Facebook Live or Skype, or you met in person, that information is captured. How was your experience? We would love to share that with other people. if it's something that you feel comfortable with. So this is what we're going to ask you to report back for any of the outreach that you do as an ambassador. And next steps. After today's webinar is over, we'll be sending you a link to apply for the program, a copy of this presentation. We'll review the applications and follow up with you by mid-July. And I wanted to close with a personal thank you to all of you. Looking at social media this week has been tremendously uplifting, especially in light of what's happening in the country right now with immigration. And there's so many people who have so many different opinions about what's happening. And reading through Facebook, sometimes you just don't want to do it. You don't want to open the newspaper. You don't want to pull up your social media feeds because it can be just so depressing. And I love this quote from Julie Andrews, who encourages us to be an ambassador for the kind of world that we want to live in. And I just thank you all very much for your interest and hope that you will join us moving forward with this program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stacy. So we really want to open it up now for any questions that people might have regarding this program. So if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask Stacy, please send them to me now. Or if you'd just like to raise your hand so I can call on you and I can open up your mic. So I'm just going to, Stacy, I'm just going to give about a minute to see whether or not we get any questions coming in. Sue's got some questions. Oh, we've got all sorts of questions. All right. So Sue, I'm going to start with you. Francesca, then I'm going to come to you. Stephen, then yourself, and then Therese. So Sue, first of all, you. Please ask your question.
Yeah, hi. And again, this is Sue. So one of the things that attracted me to IAP2 was that you are all great ambassadors for how people can have conversations in a civil manner. And so I was interested in the ambassador program because many people have no idea that IAP2 exists, nor do they have any idea what public participation is, or that that is even a thing. And so within the professional side of IAP2, all of you have great skills that you use within agencies and companies and organizations, but out there in the world where people are arguing at a very visceral level, is there a way to have regular folks apply IAP2 to town hall meetings, to small, indivisible type groups, things that are not as formal, but are so polarized right now? There's just so much anger, and that's my motivation, is how can I bring this there? Am I misplaced? Is this not something that is appropriate for folks who are not working in a corporate environment? So I guess that's my question.
Yeah, so Sue, maybe I'll quickly start, and then maybe Kathy or even Stacy could jump in. It sounds to me as though you might also be looking for, maybe a 1 or 2 pager about what people could do, or maybe even a video about what non-professionals could do, or what people could ask for, so that we're sort of creating a baseline and then continuing to improve on that baseline about what people should ask for, what people should expect in good public participation. Is that the sort of thing that you're asking for?
I could see where that would be helpful. I guess it's, I guess I'm also just kind of explaining where I'm coming from, that, and making sure I'm in the right place. I think that there's such an incredible need, and I hope there's a way to apply this. I hope there's a way to be able to have IAP2 support, to be able to go out in the community to a group of people and say, we can do this better. Here are some skills that I can share with you, how we can do this better. That's, I guess, would be helpful.
Sue, I can't see people jumping up and down, but I'm jumping up and down with excitement. I love the passion in your voice. And I know part of the ambassador program is to assist people in doing just that. So with that, I want to hand it over to Kathy, and then Stacy, if you have any thoughts or ideas as well.
Yeah, so Sue, thanks for that question. One of the resources that we've developed is a PowerPoint presentation that has a big section in it about the core values and key questions that relate to the core values. And so you could extract that portion of the PowerPoint and share that in your community with the people that are having these dialogues, or with people that you think might lead dialogues, so that they can think about how they go about doing that work. Because those core values we want to get out into the world, and we want people to know them and share them and think about them. So there's a big chunk of that PowerPoint. I think it's worth you looking at that and thinking about how could that be transferred information. And then Amelia, back to your point about having a 1 or 2 pager or a video about how to ask for a good P2 or what good P2 looks like. Those are things that we've been trying to program into the board budget for the communications committee. And it's just a matter of, what comes first. So we thought we would launch the ambassador program first. And I think that idea of doing a video of some type got pushed into the next fiscal year, with the hope that we could retain the budget for that to do. But it would be a year or 2 out unless we can find some funds for that, is my understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Stu, this is Stacy. I think you're absolutely in the right place. The more that you can be an advocate for good public participation processes, the more you can help your community, and the more you can certainly help the agencies that your community may be struggling to interface with in a way that is satisfying to them. So please stick around. I think we have a lot of resources that we can send you. I certainly can send you some things in addition to IAP2, because I do some community work myself, and would love to hear more specifically about what you're working on.
So thanks very much, Stacy. So Sheree, you have self-muted, so if you could unmute your mic, we'll hear from you. So while Sheree is undoing her, unmuting herself, we have another question in the question box, Stacy and Kathy. The question is from Kathy. Are you looking for a specific number of ambassadors, or will that be determined based on applications received?
I think that will be determined on applications received. But what's really exciting to me in this phone call, we've got almost all regions of the United States represented. I think I'm not hearing anybody from the southern states, but it's sounding like we've got a nice distribution across the country in a lot of different regions, which is one of the things we'll be looking at, is kind of the interests of the ambassador and the distribution of people geographically.
Great. Thank you for that. Sheree, over to you, please.
Hi there. This may have been mentioned earlier. I'm sorry if I missed it, but is the presentation going to be available online or by email?
So I'll quickly answer that. We will be sending out this presentation and a recording of the presentation, along with a application. If we're hoping that all of you will be interested in participating, and if you are, you'll fill in that application and get it back to us. So I would think within the next 24 hours, Sheree, you should expect to get all of this information.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And another question from Kathy. She's just wondering, is there a specific length of time you're asking for from us?
I think the thought is that we wanted to launch by summer so that we could spend the next 6 months kind of pilot testing different ways of sharing information through the ambassadors out into the communities where you are. Like Stacy said, we've got kind of smaller ways and larger ways, and we just wanted to get kind of pilot test those ways together, learn from them, and kind of regroup at the end of the year to design what the strategy or the program should focus on in 2019.
Thanks very much, Kathy. Stephen, you have your hand up. Let's see if we can get your mic working. Okay, we're still having problems. So, Francesca, let's hear from you.
How about now?
Whoop. Sorry, we'll come back to Francesca. Stephen, yes, your mic is now open. Yep.
Oh, okay, thank you. I just wanted to tell people that, and this might be an opportunity for launching the ambassador program, is that I just found out today that the Trump administration has a 30-day comment period on the regulations for NEPA, the National Environmental Policy Act. And so, since this is the granddaddy of federal laws for public participation, that definitely IAP2 members, as members and as an organization, definitely need to have a say about how to improve public participation in the planning process for federal projects and federally funded projects, which is almost every road project you can think of. But anyway, I just want to give you a heads up that this may prompt us to move a little faster than summer, which I guess is tomorrow. So, and I did. Last week I went to a meeting in Washington, D.C. and spoke to a special assistant to the president about this very thing. So I can provide more information later. I just wanted to give people a heads up that something big is coming.
Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate that. So Francesca, we're coming back to you. Francesca.
Great. Thank you. Also, Stephen, that was great to have that update. NEPA is so important because it is one of those, it is the big federal legislation that requires public involvement as part of the NEPA project. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you because this is super timely. Tomorrow we're having our Cascade chapter conference, 2-day conference, and I'm writing my speeches right now, and I'm able to pull right from this document these great proof points. I love that. So a lot of really good work, hard thought, and creativity has gone into this. I just appreciate that, and I'm happy to share materials from our conference, any little speeches I put together about what we did, and then maybe you could feel free to edit and improve that so that we could have kind of a little speeches corner or section of materials to pull from. I also love that postcard. I just don't have any, paper here that I'm able to print those on. That's the kind of thing I wonder in the future if we could figure out how you might actually be able to send us some of those so that we can bring them to things like our conferences and events, because those postcards in particular look best when printed on the right paper.
Right.
And I think they can be quite impactful. Another piece is I spilled something on my IAP2 t-shirt that I bought in Denver, and I'm so bummed about it. How do I get a t-shirt? I wish I could wear my t-shirt around as an ambassador.
Stacey, I'm going to let you respond to all of those.
Okay, well, Francesca, I love the idea of having folks submit their information to us so we can make it available to other ambassadors. Thank you very much for recommending that, and thank you for being willing, probably, to be the first person who does. Best of luck to you at the conference tomorrow. And we will take a look at what kind of materials we can mail out to you. I'm not sure what sort of budget we have for that right now, but we do have t-shirts listed as one of the benefits for being a member of the program. So we will get you out a t-shirt, and Amelia and I can talk about that.
Woohoo! Thank you.
Excellent. So Stacey and Kathy, we have one more question from Wendy. She's just wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about the pledge.
The pledge of the ambassador, or the pledge that we would like to get P2 sponsors to take?
I think it was the pledge that we want P2 sponsors to take.
Yeah, so...
No, actually, I thought you said there was a pledge that the ambassadors would be signing. Did I misunderstand?
Yeah, I don't think, at the moment, Wendy, we haven't created an ambassador pledge.
Oh, I misunderstood. Never mind then.
Okay, I was going to say it might be a good idea, and I must admit, one of the exciting things is that this is a brand spanking new program, and we're really hoping to learn from everyone that participates as an ambassador. And if we need more materials or different materials, or this is what it's all about. We want to learn from you, and of course we've got the wonderful Stacy that's leading this program on behalf of IAP2 USA, and I know that she'll bring forward ideas and thoughts to Kathy, and Kathy can bring them up to the board, and we'll see what we can do to make them happen. But no pledge yet, Wendy, but hey, maybe we should be creating one. Stacy.
Thank you, Wendy. It's always wonderful to hear your voice. And I am taking a list. I'm making a list of all the great suggestions and questions that we have from this call. So we'll talk about that after the webinar is over and get back with you. We can send some updates when we send out this presentation and the application as well. So I don't have anything else to add. I appreciate everyone's comments and questions and participation today. I am very excited. I hope you can hear that in my voice. It sounds like many of you are excited and very passionate about improving public participation in your community, and I can't wait to do this with all of you. So I'm going to turn it over to Kathy for the last word, and then look for an email from us in the next day or so.
Yeah, so we wanted to thank everybody, one, for the initial feedback, throughout the years, and most recently in the surveys from our members, to let us know kind of what would be the most helpful for the organization to do. And then it's really wonderful to have all these voices and people on the webinar today to hear from the different parts of the country how we all share this idea of let's get the word out there about what good P2 looks like. And in the process, help our members and raise the profile of the organization. And hopefully help individuals in their conversations have more successful dialogues and decision-making processes that they go through. So we're excited. We're hoping that we've tailored the program enough so that there's kind of small activities and large activities, and it's kind of can fit what you can do for the next few months. And we can learn from those experiences together. I think we want to set up quarterly webinars, right? So with the ambassadors, once we've got a set of ambassadors, to talk, check in with each other regularly and hear about what you're experiencing, and then think about what are we learning and what does that mean for how we proceed in 2019. So I'm just really psyched. It's been about a year and a half in the making to get to this point. So we're really, really excited about it.
And so with that, Kathy and Stacy, we don't have any more questions. So on behalf of IAP2 USA, thank you very much to everyone that's joined us on today's call. As Kathy and Stacy have said, in about 24 hours, maybe a little bit more than 24 hours, we'll get all of the information out to you, including today's recording and PowerPoint. And we really do strongly encourage you to become IAP2 USA's first ambassadors in an opportunity to get the word out about IAP2 and advancing good public participation. So with that, goodbye. We hope that you have an absolutely wonderful day, and we'll talk to you real soon. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Everyone.